All right, and it's their third and final game of this triple header on the Crown Point Sports Network of the 2022 16 to 18-year-old Ohio Valley Regional Tournament. And we will close out today with the Crown Point Dirtbags hosting the Highland Trojans. Andrew Mild here for the last game, and this game has implications on who will finish second and who will finish third in the standings in Pool A. Highland and Current Point are both 1-1 going into this game, with the Dirtbags losing a tough one by a final score of 7-1 this morning to Elmhurst. And because of that win and Highland's victory against Eastern Kentucky or Floyd County to start the tournament on Thursday, it has allowed Elmhurst to clinch first place because they automatically have head-to-head advantage over whoever wins this game, and Floyd County can't catch them if Floyd County were to beat them, because they'd be 1-2, and Elmhurst would still be sitting at 2-1. As the umpire meeting is officially over, both teams are in their respective huddles. The Dirtbags still in the white unis that they wore this morning. Let's try to see if they can get any luck out of them in this game or taking the field. The white jerseys with the purple accents and the purple sleeves. And Highland will be wearing their blue uniforms with the white numbers and the yellow outlines with some stripes on their sleeves, where it's a yellow thin one and then a thick white one beneath it. They're also wearing the blue hats with the white and yellow Highland H. Let's go through the defensive alignment of the Crown Point Dirtbags. In the outfield, going from left to right, it's Max McNeil, Christian Kostoff, and Ryan Belch. And then on the infield, going from third to first, is Owen Winters, Matt Corona, Nate Moravilla, and Jaden Andres. Behind the plate is C.J. Hardy, and pitching will be Hunter Smith for the Crown Point Dirtbags. And then the lineup for the Highland goes as this. Batting leadoff in left field, it's going to be Mike Perry. Ryan Smith bats second in right field. Dylan Majeski is going to bat third and play shortstop. Sean Harder is the pitcher, and he'll bat cleanup today. Bryce Ozalai is the 5-hitter playing second base. Jason Bogner bats sixth, playing the hot corner today for Highland. Eric Tanis will patrol center field today. Caden Vandermeiden is batting eighth over at first. And rounding out the lineup for for Highland is Ryan Gordon, who is catching for Highland today. And here we go, getting ready for action here. They had 3 games today. This is the final game, the third and final one. Started off with the Dirtbags losing 7-1 to Elmhurst, where they were no hit. And then the Rockets just beat the Porter County Storm 10-0. And on the Westfield, before this game started, Eau Claire was able to win over the Hammond Hurricanes by a final score of 6-1, and they have clinched first place in their pool. So we have our 2 first-place teams, Elmhurst and Eau Claire. So the 2 teams that start with the letter E, believe it or not. Here's the pitch, and it's an awkward cut by Perry. It's 0-1. Perry and the Trojans are 1-1 as they won their first game 5-3 over Floyd County, and then lost a close one to Elmhurst 2-1, where they just could not hit the baseball, and it cost them the win and a fighting chance to be the number 1 team in their pool, as Perry takes one a little low, 1-1 from Smith. As Smith lost his cap on that pitch, and they'll come back with the 1-1 here. Highland, the defending regional champions from a season ago. The 1-1 deal is off the plate. It's 2 balls and a strike. Perry wearing the number 99, and once again you look up, and Hunter Smith is bending over, picking up his white cap, which isn't so white anymore after being in the dirt for the last 2 pitches. The 2-1, and he throws another one low, and then his hat is low, 3-1. So this is the first time Highland has gotten to play today. They had played a doubleheader a few nights ago, And ball 4. Perry's going to hustle over the first base as he saw 5 pitches, and 4 of them missed.
The right fielder, Ryan Smith.
Smith is the new batter, as they're going to relay the signs from third base. Sam Michael, the manager of this team. He's also coaching third base. Been managing this team for a long time, as he's taken them to numerous Ohio Valleys, and then finally last year was able to break through and get them to a World Series, which was in Alabama, now on the other side of the country, all the way up in the Pacific Northwest. With a strike right down the middle, Smith was crossed up as he tried to hold up his swing. It was going to be a strike anyway, and it's 1-1. Game started at 6:12. Is one game running over 2 hours between the Dirtbags and Elmhurst due to some delays. An umpire was taken out of the game. There was a check on the rules later on in the game. There was a bunt back to the pitcher, Smith. Smith going to first, and he double clutched it, and that's what allowed Ryan Smith to leg out an infield single on the bunt. If he didn't double clutch it, there's a good chance he would have gotten them. But Smith is going to get the first hit of the game, and it wasn't a bunt for a hit. That was a bunt for a sacrifice, but it paid off. And that's what Highland's always been really good at, just playing to the fundamentals. And that's why they time and time again have been constantly battling for an Indiana State championship and try to win another Ohio Valley. Dylan Majeski, the 3-hitter, will step up to the plate with no outs and 2 runners on base. It's Perry standing on second, Smith standing on first. Here's the pitch from Smith, and it's a swing and a miss from Majeski. That appeared to be the changeup from Smith, and it's 0-1 as it had some downward movement once they approached the plate. Majeski steps back into the box with red batting gloves. He shows bunt, and it's a beautifully placed bunt down the line, but it's going to go foul. Right idea. Try to catch Owen Winters napping over at third base. And it started fair, and then it kept going to the left as Majeski just put too much push onto it. And he pushed it wide to the third base bag. And with an 0-2 count, Sam Michael tells his hitter to swing away now. The bunt foul would ultimately spell a strikeout. 0-2. And a foul ball off the end of the bat. It's going to go off to the right toward the Highland dugout and be picked up by Sean Harder, who will be pitching in the bottom of the first inning for Highland. Floyd County and Elmhurst will be doing battle on the west field momentarily as they're getting warmed up over there. And a swing and a miss. Nasty breaking ball from Hunter Smith comes at a big time to get the first out and retire the 3-hitter of Highland.
Now coming to the plate, the pitcher, number 24, Sean Harder.
Well, now that sets up a potential inning-ending double play after a walk and an infield single by Smith. Harder, the cleanup hitter, now up, and he clobbers one to the left. McNeil's going to his right. He's going back, and he makes the play. McNeil patrolled that baseball, secured it with 2 hands while on the run. As he had a good jump on that one, and there's 2 outs now. So 2 runners got on to start the game. A strikeout and a flyout to left could spell the end of the Highland threat in the top of the first inning, which the Dirtbags are looking to capture some momentum and now fall behind early because on Thursday they scored 15 runs against Floyd County, and today they scored 1 run without ever getting a hit. 1-0. So after getting a break, the Dirtbags are hoping to come into the bottom of the first inning and regain the pop in their bats. Here's the pitch, and it's a foul ball straight over our heads here in the booth, and it's now 1-1 to Bryce Ozalai. Ozalai, Where's the number 5? Steps back into the box. It appears to be a voodoo bat, which I can tell from my angle. It's 2 outs. Here's the pitch. Smith throws one in the dirt, blocked by Hardy. Hardy's going to hold on to it, as that was a good read by the runner on second base. And Mike Perry is now 90 feet away from giving Highland the first run of the game. The count will be 2-1 now, as the Dirtbags communicate on defense just in case Smith over at first does take off, and Smith is going to get himself into a rundown. This is a drawn-up play by Sam Michael, and because of that, Smith had to make the wise choice of just holding on to the baseball and not put Ryan Smith into a rundown, and he made Mike Perry retreat back into third base. That goes down as a stolen base for Smith, but that's usually Highland. Line drive to the left. McNeil's going for it. He won't get it. It drops in. A run scores. Here comes Smith, who just stole second. He scores. It's a 2 RBI knock for Bryce Ozalai, and gives his team a 1-0 lead before their Dirtbags can take the plate.
Now coming to the plate, number 22, Jason Bogner.
That came at a big time for Highland. 2 outs and 2 runners on, and Ozalai comes through clutch. Fastball paints the inner corner to Jason Bogner, and it's 0-1 as Bogner gets the sign from his manager. Highland's always been able to make the right plays and make teams make mistakes. They don't make too many in the field. That one's just above the strike zone for ball 1. It's Gary Chick that will be behind the plate, the umpire-in-chief for this game, the UIC. And it's 1-1 to Bogner with 2 outs and the runner standing on first base. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Ground ball to Winters over at third, and it's a foul ball. You had Sam Michael in blue saying it's fair, and then you have Gary Chick, who's in blue behind the plate, saying it's foul. And the lighter blue is always going to be the one where you go with. And Sam Michael thought that was a fair ball. But now he's communicating to Bogner, saying to use his hips, as Bogner did just kind of just reach out and put the barrel on it and put the ball in play. And with it being a 1-1 count, you could have not wasted it. And he swings out a ball in the dirt and it gets past Hardy. This could be a drop third strike, and it's going to be as Bogner strikes out technically, but he does get first base because C.J. Hardy did not corral the baseball and throw him out at first base. So that's 2 strikeouts for Hunter Smith, but the inning will continue as Bogner standing on first. Ozalai now standing on second. Eric Tannis, the 7-hitter, will now try to see if he can score another run. The pitch was a ball. Start off his first at-bat of the game, as Hunter Smith has now thrown 22 pitches against Highland. Looking at him for a sign. He works on the first base side of the rubber. Here's the pitch. It's a curveball, and that drops in for a strike. At front doors, Tannis, as it stayed inside and dropped in on that corner just in time for Gary Chick to call it a strike. It's 1-1 now. This game is determines who will be the number 2 team, and that's 2-1 now. And the loser will be the number 3 team. Both teams still make the playoffs nonetheless, as both these teams have wins over Floyd County. And Floyd County is 0-2, so they cannot catch Elmhurst, who's already gotten number 1 in this pool. 3-1 now as it backed off Tannis. As a fastball ran inside close to his knees. And a hitter-friendly count now. High leverage for Tannis. The pitch. Tannis swings and lifts one up over our heads again. And it's 3-2. So here on this pitch with 3-2 and 2 outs, runners are going to be on the move. Because if it's ball 4, they just get the next base. If it's a strikeout, the inning's over. If the ball is put in play and somehow finds a gap for Highland, Highland may be able to get 2 more runs. And strike 3 called. Gary Chick rings up Tannis on a breaking ball at the knees, inside corner, and that will end the inning. But Highland does some damage. He scored 2 runs off a clutch hit from Bryce Ozalai. We go to the bottom of the first. Highland 2 and the Dirtbags coming up. And you're watching the Crown Point Sports Network. Home half of the first. Dirtbags are coming up, and this is what their lineup looks like for James Hensley's squad. It's Christian Kostoff batting leadoff, playing center field. And Matt Corona will bat second. C.J. Hardy bats third. He's the catcher. Owen Winters, the cleanup hitter, playing third base. Jaden Andrus will bat fifth, playing first. Ryan Bletch is patrolling right field, batting sixth today. Nate Maravilla in the 7-hole. That's a strike to start. 0-1. Eli Sparks is the extra hitter. He's the 8-hole hitter. Aiden Hensley bats ninth. And then Max McNeil rounds out the lineup for the Dirtbags this afternoon. 0-1. Down in the way, 1-1. And for the defense of Highland, going from left to right in the outfield as per usual, it's Mike Perry, Eric Tanis, and Ryan Smith. The infield goes as Jason Bogner, Dylan Majeski, Bryce Ozalai. The 1-1 pitch is just a little bit low, and it's 2-1. Caden Vandermeiden is over at first, and Ryan Gordon will be catching for Highland. His pitcher today is Sean Harder. 2-1. That is a 3-1 count now, as that one was pulled off the outside corner. And Kostoff did not get a hit, as no Dirtbag did in the first game, but he did pitch, and he went 2 2/3 plus. We allowed 7 hits, 5 runs, 1 walk, and 1 K. Chopper to third base, leaping by Jason Bogner, who would then relay it to first to get the first out. An athletic play to start the day for Highland in the field, as Kostoff hit straight into the ground. And Bogner, who was playing in due to the leadoff hitter, and you never know if he's going to bunt, leaped up, secured the baseball, set his feet, and made it nice and easy for Caden Vandermeiden at first base, and that's going to be 1 out. And Matt Corona, the 2-hitter wearing the number 1, will now try his hand against Harder. Here is the pitch, and that is up and in to the 2-hole hitter, who went 0 for 2 in this morning's game with a walk and 2 strikeouts. Looking to change his luck here and try to get something going for the Dirtbags on offense. 1-1. They scored 16 runs in 2 games, 15 in 1 game, and then 1 this morning. Harder delivers, and that's a slide piece that drops in there for a strike. Wow. He does have he just dropped down a little bit on his arm slot, just about shoulder height, which allows him to get that run on that slider. The 1-2. He throws it off the plate. 2-2 is the fastball. Highland lost a pitcher's duel 2-1 to Elmhurst, and they won 5-3 against Floyd County. Break-even pitch, and Corona has a really good take there. It was that slider again that ran into the dirt, blocked by Ryan Gordon, and it's going to set up a full count pitch from Harder. Let's see if the Dirtbags can get their first base runner on this 3-2 pitch. Tanis, the center fielder, playing a little bit to his right in the left center of the pitch, and that is a good two-strike swing from Matt Corona, who stayed in on it, kept his head in, was able to foul it off, and see another one. But again, Tanis playing a little bit towards left field, just in case the ball is hitting that general direction. The pitch, and that's strike 3 called. Corona thought that was ball 4. He even flipped the bat towards his dugout and was going to head towards first base. But as he was doing all of that, Gary Chick was ringing him up, and that's the first strikeout for Harder. And the second out of the bottom of the first inning. The backstop for the Dirtbags, C.J. Hardy is the batter. 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts and a ground out to third. That was his line in today's game against Elmhurst, who pitched a beautiful game. That is a slow curveball for a strike 0-1, so he can put some more on it and get more tight movement, or he can slow it down and let it drop in. So Harder throws that. It might be even a slurve at that point, where you could turn it into a slider or turn it into a curve with the same grip, but a different speed with the arm. And it's 1-1, as Owen Winters had to pick up that baseball in the backstop. Hardy steps back in with his red helmet. Here's the pitch, and that is down and away, 2-1. I'm surprised we haven't seen too many more red helmets, as Crown Point has always been known for this red and white, and that's the same color as C.J. Hardy's helmet, who was on the high school team before joining the Dirtbags after the season concluded at regionals. 2-2 as that fastball finds the plate, and Harder is 1 strike away from sitting down the Dirtbags in order and setting up his red-hot offense, who scored 2 in the top of the first off a big hit from Azale. The 2-2. Hit off the end of the bat towards the right side. Vander Muyten running towards the line, and he somehow makes a play. It was an awkward-looking catch, but hey, an out is an out, and that out ends the inning. We go to the second, Highland 2, and the Dirtbags nothing. If you're watching the Babe Ruth baseball on the Crown Point Sports Network. An inning has come and gone, and Highland is winning 2-0. And sorry, a pitching change to be announced. As shouldn't be shocked by that with the way that this tournament has been going. But Hunter Smith is out after going 1 inning. We allowed 2 runs on 2 hits, 1 walk, 3 Ks. It's now Owen Winters pitching, and he fires a first pitch that gets lined to second base where Nate Maravilla is there for out number 1. So 1 pitch, 1 out. That's called efficiency.
Now coming to the plate, number 6, the catcher, Ryan Gordon.
And Ryan Gordon, after getting all his catcher's equipment off and taking some warm-up swings, only got to see 1 pitch from Owen Winters, as this is the 9-hitter for Highland. So after this, we'll go back to the top of the order with Mike Perry. And this is off the end of the bat, shot in the center field, and it's a hit. It wasn't hit all too hard, but doesn't matter how hard you hit it. It's where you place it. And that's exactly what Ryan Gordon did there. Placed it right between Nate Maravilla and Matt Corona, who couldn't make the play because it was positioned perfectly. Go back to the top of the order with Mike Perry. Perry walked in his last at-bat and would come around to score on the hit from Ozale. As Ozale's hit is the difference maker in the game right now. He drove in 2. It wasn't just Perry that scored, but it was also Ryan Smith, who is the next hitter we will see in this inning, unless there is a double play, which would end it, and we would see Smith in the 3rd. Perry steps out, gets his sign. Let's see if Highland has anything going here. There was claps at the end, so maybe not. Maybe we'll just get Perry swinging away. Here is the 1-0, and it's a cut and miss on that curveball, 1-1. One nothing on the west field. Floyd County is the away team. And they're leading early on as that game just got started. And there's a strike. The Dirtbags have thrown a lot more breaking balls in this game than they did in the previous game earlier today. And they've been getting some swings and misses. The 3 strikeouts in the first, but there was 1 fly out because of the drop third. It goes down as a strikeout, but doesn't count as an out in general. And that ball hits the lip and gets past the third baseman. This could go down as a hit. We'll see what the official score says. He's safe at third, and they're going to call him out. Thought he was safe at third, but then it was Gary Chick who had the best visual, in my opinion, says that he was out, and here comes Sam Michael to talk to Gary Chick. Talk to the official score. That is a single for Mike Perry. It was an awkward play. That's what I'll describe it as. It was a chopper, and it looked like it was going to keep going in that same type of manner until it hit the lip and just flattened out. And they're going to call Gordon out. Gordon took off for second, and after the ball got away, he headed for third. Then they threw him out at third as there was a brief pause, as you really can't expect anything like that, as Gary Chick, the home plate umpire, looked at his base umpire and realized it was his call, and he called him out. He did watch the play all the way through, so I will give him credit. Perry got the hit. He's standing on second base now as he moved up on the play at third. So Highland still has an opportunity to score a 3rd run, but the out at third was crucial for Crown Point. So instead of runners on 3rd and 2nd and 1 out, they instead just have 1 lone runner standing on second base with 2 gone. Smith did single in his last at-bat, and he came around to score. He's 1 for 1. The pitch hit in the left field. McNeil has a beat on it, and he's there. There's the 3rd out. So after a close play at third and a fly out to left, Crown Point puts a 0 up on Highland as we head to the bottom of the 2nd inning, with the score still remaining 2-0 in favor of the boys in blue. And you're watching the 2022 Ohio Valley Tournament on the Crown Point Sports Network. Home half of the second inning. Highland still up 2-0 as they stranded a runner in scoring position to end the second inning. Andrew Mile here with you. And after they fly out to Max McNeil in left field. Highland still has a 2-0 lead, and the Dirtbags sticks have gone cold today. Let's see if they can regain something, as they've struggled at the plate today through the first 8 innings. As they've played a doubleheader. They played this morning, had a game off, and are not playing. Owen Winters, who started at third, now the pitcher, will go up against Sean Harder, who struck out 1, had a ground out and a pop out to first to end the bottom of the first inning, and that one's out. It's now 1-1 to the cleanup hitter of the Dirtbags. Winters was 0 for 2 earlier today with a hit by pitch, a stolen base, and he was the only person to score the game as he stole third, and then the ball went past the third baseman and into left field, allow him to cross the plate. Winters goes back up the middle. It's backhanded by the second baseman, Ozalai, who then throws out Winters at first base. You got to be careful with Highland. They will make the defensive plays when necessary. That's always been constant with this club. They have one out. Even though it was hit hard by Winters, just hit it right into the teeth of the defense. Jaden Andrus now up. Andrus still sporting the one batting glove on the left hand, none on the right. Here's the pitch, and it's out 1-0, and Andrus has the lime green bat. Electing to go with the high purple socks. Trying to be the first Dirtbag to get on base today. He's ahead 2-0 now after taking 2 off the plate. Andrus did work a walk in the last game, but he also struck out swinging, so he was 0 for 1, even though he did reach base. Just few Dirtbags are able to get on. And that one's outside, 3-0. I'm willing to guess that Hensley told Andrus, red light here, take till you see a strike, the windup, and the pitch. And he does not see a strike in that at bat. It's a 4-pitch walk for Jaden Andrus. So there goes the perfect game for Harder, but he still has the other one intact. We won't jinx him, but it is early. Ryan Black now will come up. Here's the pitch, and it's a called strike, a little bit delayed by Gary Chick, but it's a strike to Black. Black and his team needs to get some hits together. They just did get a walk on 4 pitches to Jaden Andrus, who's standing at first. And throw over the first base is not in time. Andrus gets back in there safely. It's now 1-1 on the West Field. Thinking that the home team is still batting. 0-1. Here's the pitch. And it's a swing and a miss as Bletch missed the fastball. It's 0-2. Went right past him. You couldn't catch up to it. One ball, 2 strikes. Check on Andrus at first, not in time again. Here's the 0-2. And strike 3, they ring him up. Belch didn't look too comfortable in that at-bat against Harder. And he's down on strikes. The second strikeout for Harder in this game. Nate Maravella will try to keep the inning alive. It's really just been the defense of Highland thus far, as there's only been 2 Ks, but some great plays behind him has allowed him to cruise. The check over on the runner. He's at 27 pitches right now. He will be throwing 28 momentarily. That'll be the minimum that he will throw through the first 2 frames of his start against the Dirtbags. But it was Ozalai over at second that made a phenomenal play to get the out. There's a strike. He spun one in there on the outside corner. It's 0-1 with 2 outs. Andrus is the lone runner on first base. They're going to throw over again to check on Andrus. Andrus didn't have much of a lead there. Might not have been able to slide. Might as well just put his foot right back on it. But I guess you're just going to make someone work harder to clean out that jersey if we do play tomorrow. Here's the 0-1. It's down to the dirt, blocked by Gordon. Looked like a hockey goalie back there. Dropping down, keeping the baseball in front of him, not giving any free bases to Andrus. The count will move to 1-1 with 2 outs. Andrus gets the lead. Slowly inching towards second. Chopper up the middle. The shortstop, Majeski, can't corral the baseball as he slid and tackled it, but couldn't get a grip on it. And there's the hit that the Dirtbags have been looking for. Again, just another instance where the ball wasn't hit all too hard, but because it was up the middle, the widest part of the field, it forced Majeski to try and make a great play, and he did everything right, but just not being able to release the baseball and try to get Andrus at second, which would have been the closest base to him. Sparks is the hitter. Here's the pitch. And Harder delivers one just a little bit low. 1 ball, no strikes. This is the best scoring opportunity the Dirtbags have had in quite some time. Maybe since that second inning against Elmhurst where they scored their lone run in the game. They did not amount too much offense after that, but they have a walk and a hit. Line drive to the first baseman, and it's snagged by Vandermeiden on a backhand moving in as it was off the end of the bat of Sparks, and that's the third and final out. We're through 2, Highland up by 2. You're watching the Ohio Valley Tournament on the Crown Point Sports Network.
After 2 innings of
We're in the third, almost halfway there, and Highland will come up with the heart of the order of Majeski, Harder, and Ozalay. They'll still have to go against Owen Winters. This is Winters' first time against this part of the order as he checked in the top of the second inning and allowed 2 hits but no runs as he had a phenomenal play from his infielders to throw a runner at third. As Winters can't spin the curveball for a strike, he left it over the head of Majeski, 1-0. Majeski struck out swinging in his first plate appearance against Hunter Smith, and he swings through that fastball, and it's 1-1. The Dirtbags looking to have a quiet 1-2-3 inning, put up another 0 on Highland, and go into the bottom of the third and try to make their way back into the game. So they're only down 2 runs, but they've not been able to find a spark on offense thus yet. 1-2 now after a good pitch. And here comes Winters. Down low, 2-2. Smith started the game, went 1 inning, allowed the 2 runs. Winters in his second full inning of work as he throws the 2-2. And he left that curveball up again. Not happy with himself as he slaps the side of his glove. And it will now be 3-2. So we'll start the top of the third with a payoff pitch on its way from Owen Winters. And Winters just can't find the strike zone in the last 2 pitches. And Majeski works a leadoff walk, which now you start to look over at Sam Michael and Highland, and they've been dealt a hand of getting that leadoff runner on first base. How are they going to play it? Michael and Highland always trying to play chess, but not checkers against these teams. Here's the pitch. It's down in the dirt, 1-0 to Sean Harder, who has pitched 2 innings, allowed just 1 hit, no runs thus far. And he's trying to help himself out here and maybe put 2 runners in scoring position. They're going to throw over the first base to check on Macheski. And it was not in time, as Aiden Hensley is checked in to play first base for Jaden Andrus. Andrus was over there to start the game. Runner on the move. The throw from Hardy is in time. They got him. What a nice throw from C.J. Hardy. And it was a ball on the pitch, but the way that Winter was able to leave that baseball up, not on purpose, of course, it looked like he went to a curveball again. It allowed Hardy to already stand up, catch the baseball, and get rid of it pretty quickly. 2-1 now. And get the caught stealing for the first out. Again, Hardy was on the Crown Point High School team and played varsity. And he just made a great play. The pitch. And it's an awkward cut by Harder. He was fooled on the curveball, and it's going to be an even count of 2-2. As we just saw the first out be recorded, and it's now 4-1 on the West Field. The pitch, and it's a swing and a miss. What a bounce back by Owen Winters after a walking Macheski. He gets a little bit of momentum from his battery mate throwing out a runner. Then he strikes out Harder on 4 pitches. Harder's now 0 for 2. And Bryce Ozole, who's been the hero of the game thus far, will now come up. He made a great play at second in this game. He had the 2 RBI hit. So not only on the offensive side, but also the defense has played dividends for Sam Michael and his Highland squad, who are trying to wrap up second place. They have to win this game. Whoever wins gets second. Whoever loses will get third. But both teams are in anyway. And that is a knee-buckling curveball that buckles Ozole, and it's a strike called. Keeps going back to reliable there and spinning it just where he needs it. And that was a sword. Wow. Ozole was fooled again, and he took a swing at the last moment, but the baseball was already in the back of the glove of C.J. Hardy. Choke up on the bat, the 1-2, and it's another breaking ball. I didn't see that one coming. It's now 2-2. All breaking balls in this at-bat thus far. Maybe he'll change it up and go to a fastball and try to blow it by him. There's a good chance that Ozole might be sitting on the fastball. And there's a ground ball to short, backhanded by Corona on one knee. He throws it low, and it gets past Hensley, but luckily for Hensley, C.J. Hardy was running up the line and backed him up and made sure that it was only a 1-base error instead of a 2-base error. And also a nice hustle from the right fielder. That was Ryan Bleck, that came over from right field and backed it up. So Winters has to continue in this inning after the E6 on the low throw, and there's a strike to Bogner. Bogner takes another strike. It's been nothing but breaking balls from Winters. The curveball and the slider. Really haven't seen anything else but those two pitches, and then mixing a fastball when he needs to. And it's a ball off the end of the bat over the shortstop's head into left center field. It's going to be Max McNeil that will pick it up and toss it back in as Bogner sat on that breaking ball and just leaned over and put the barrel on the ball and positioned it perfectly between Kostoff and McNeil in the outfield. And see, that's the moment when you realize that C.J. Hardy running up the line and backing up the first baseman Hensley is crucial. It's one of the small things you can do in baseball, because if Ozolai was standing on second, there's a good chance that base hit would have scored a run, because it was 2 outs, so he's going to go on the crack of the bat. But instead, he has to stand at second base. So doing the small things right can prevent runs from scoring. And Bogner, who got the hits, 1 for 2. Eric Tanis, the center fielder for Highland, will step up to the plate, and he's behind 0-1 after a fastball goes over the plate. And it was a called strike. 2 runners on base, 2 outs. All the damage done with these 2 outs after a strikeout of the pitcher Harder. And there's a strike. 0-2 is a curveball. Winters has thrown a lot of strikes, but this is where it gets interesting. Highland will choke up on the bat. About every hitter does this. And will just try to put the barrel on the ball and push it somewhere. The right side looks inviting for Highland. That is just a bit up. And it's 1-2. A great take by Tanis. Winters thought that could have been strike 3. But he'll have to throw another pitch to Tanis. Tanis stands right on top of home plate. Bat right over the top of the strike zone. Here is the pitch. And he fouls it off. And that makes a clunk over our heads. And we'll do 1-2 again. Tanis struck out looking to end the top of the first, where Highland saw those 2 runs score. They still hold on to that 2-0 lead. And there's a pause there from Winters. He's set, he delivers, and it's another foul ball. Highland's got a pesky group of hitters. They don't like to go down very easily and can make it very frustrating for any pitcher that comes their way. Just looking for any mistake that they can pound somewhere and scoring a run. Here's the pitch. It's a ground ball to the shortstop, Corona. Corona's going to go to third, and it's the wise play, as it was a fielder's choice, and it's out number 3 as the base umpire is right on top of it. And that will end the top of the third, where Highland strands 2 runners and do not score. We'll go to the bottom of the third. It's 2-0 in favor of Highland. You're watching the Ohio Valley on the Crown Point Sports Network. It's the bottom of the third. Due up is Aiden Hensley, Max McNeil, and Christian Kostoff. Harder is still pitching for Highland as he delivers the first one, and it's down and away to Hensley 1-0 as Dom Galindo will rejoin us as he was here for our first game, for the first Dirtbags game of the day. He was down on field level taking some pictures for the Dirtbags and finally put the headset back on, and I think he was pretty excited to put him back on. What do you think?
I think I was. It was pretty fun last time.
Well, I'm glad I can make it fun as Hensley swings through a fastball. It's now 1-2. As Dom, this is a team that's been struggling on offense. What do you think they need to do to get some momentum on this side of the plate?
Honestly, they just need one big hit. They're all struggling right now, so they just need a big hit to bring the momentum to their side.
Well, Hensley's gotten the count evened out at 2-2, as they have not been able to score a run since that second inning. So it's been quite some time. It's been 9 innings, or actually, correction, that's 8 innings of scoreless baseball for the Dirtbags at the plate. The payoff pitch, called strike 3, and Hensley is out.
That's the second time the Dirtbags have done that. They thought it was ball 4, throw their bat and go to first, and it turns out to strike 3.
Yeah, you never want to leave it up to the umpire, even if it was close. As Hensley is the first casualty of the inning, the third strikeout for Sean Harder, and a shout-out was asked to do for Jack and Sandy McNeil, who are watching Dirtbags baseball all the way from Scottsdale, Arizona, which I'm willing to bet their weather is better than ours today.
Way better, I bet.
It's really cooled down since Game 1. Game 1, it was humid, but right now it's cooled down. There's a nice breeze.
It's a little chilly down there.
It's dropped about 20 degrees. McNeil pushes a bunt foul, as that one had no chance of rolling fair, and we'll do 0-2 now. I like the bunt attempt there. If your team's been struggling, you might as well try to lay down a bunt and see if you can get a bad throw down the line. And next thing you know, there's a runner on second base, and if he scores, it's a 2-1 game. But it's going to be 0-2 to McNeil, who's batting 10th, so he's the last hitter to get a plate appearance for the Dirtbags. Here's the pitch, and he was able to check his swing on the ball in the dirt. It's 1-2. So, Dom, what did you do in between games? As I was here calling the game, you were not to be seen.
I was at Station 21.
Oh,
I
okay.
had some chicken tenders and French fries.
There we go. That's the way to go. Did you bring me any?
No, I did not. I should have.
Strike 3 called. McNeil's down. Back-to-back strikeouts for Harder to start the inning, and there are 2 gone, as we'll go back to Christian Kostoff at the top of the order. I don't think I've ever had the chicken tenders at Station 21. I've always liked the mac and cheese, and some of the burgers there are also really good.
Every time I go there, it's always chicken tenders. They have some good ranch.
Really?
Yeah, it's one of my favorites.
See, I'm not much of a ranch fan, so I'll take that with a grain of salt, but I hope our listeners understand that Station 21 has been rocking the ranch over there, just right down the road. Kostoff lifts one into right field. This one looks to be trouble, and
wait, no, he caught
it is a nice catch by Bryce Osley going into right field. Communicates well with Ryan Smith and makes the play with no damage done. And 1, 2, 3, go the Dirtbags. We go to the 4th. The scorer is Highland 2 and Crown Point nothing. As you're watching the Ohio Valley Tournament on the Crown Point Sports Network. Andrew Mild and Dom Galindo from Legacy Fields in Crown Point, Indiana. We're happy to have you with us on the Crown Point Sports Network as Highland will come back to the plate, trying to build on their 2-0 lead. They have not scored since the top of the first, as Owen Winters came in and has put up 2 scoreless frames. So he's really been battling against a pretty good Highland lineup that's just been looking to get their offense going, as they only scored 1 run a game ago. Ground ball up the middle. It's right to Nate Maravilla, who will throw it to Aiden Hensley covering first base, and there is an out.
That's good for the Dirtbags to get that quick out. They really struggled. They had a lot of runners on base the past 2 innings.
And it looks as though the defense has been a lot stronger this game than it did in the last game. And really, looking back in that game against Elmhurst, the defense didn't really fall apart until late in the 6th when so many runs had crossed the plate. I would say maybe the 4 or 5, and they would score 1 more. Off the end of the bat into left center, and it's a hit. Corona raced after it, but it was positioned perfectly between him and Jaden Andrus. And there's a hit for Gordon. He's 2 for 2. When your 9-hitter has 2 hits on the day, you must be doing well for yourself.
Yeah, he's doing really good for Highland. That's something.
Well, it's just saying that you always expect your top of the order to produce, but when your bottom of the order is producing too, that's really good news. Then you have a more balanced lineup. Back to the top of the order with Mike Perry, as we mentioned, that's Gordon on. It's not Gordon on first base anymore because of a courtesy runner, but it was Gordon that got the hit. As Dom, it looks as though that after today, we may have to prepare for another day of just rain and showers in the Crown Point area.
Yeah.
As that does hit Perry. Perry wears one for his team and trots up the first base. It's a free pass on the hit by pitch, and there's runners on first and second as the runner for Gordon will now move up 90 feet. But it's always like this. Every year it feels like this. Whenever there is a tournament here at Legacy Field in Crown Point, rain just happens to find a way into the area. And then we get the delays. I remember a few years ago, it was my Ohio Valley played here when I was 18. There was a strike inside the Smith. We had to get a game in. The game started at 4 a.m. Not an exaggeration.
4 a.m.
Brian Paz is just to your right. He was here. He's nodding his head. It was not fun. I believe it was against Lyons County. And we ended up winning the game. But I just remember we came back the next day, and everyone was so tired. Because that is I don't know how you want to really describe that. The earliest game we've ever played in. I mean, we almost got to see the sunrise together while on the baseball field.
I didn't know they'd schedule a game.
They didn't schedule for that. It's just how it worked out. It's 1-1 to Smith.
So what, you had to get the field at like 3:30?
We were already at the field. There's just so many delays. This is lifted in the left. That's Kostoff, and he drops the ball. But Kostoff then overthrows his third baseman, and backing up was the pitcher. That's 2 errors in one play.
That's really
by Christian Kostoff. That's
in order to
that's
be
heartbreaking.
A team like Highland, you gotta limit your errors, and 2 errors right there.
Yeah, it's 2 E7s. I don't know how to write that in the book. I just put E7 times 2. Might be the first time, and hopefully the last time I ever have to. Because he would have had the runner at third, but he sailed it. That's a strike to Majeski. 0-1. I'm trying to think of other games that have ran late like that. I remember Boston had a game like that a few years ago where they had to stay and play until like 2 or 3 a.m. Pop up on the infield. Hensley catches it, and that's infield fly. So the batter was out anyway. No one has to advance on the play.
They almost collided, Owen and Aiden. It looked like it wasn't very good communication over there.
No, they didn't. It didn't look like they talked too much. It really wouldn't have mattered anyway, to be honest, because it was an infield fly. But there's 2 outs. Owen Winters is 1 out away from stranding the bases loaded for Highland. And it's the pitcher, Harder, of course, that will come up. And he swings at the first pitch. He lifts it into left as Kostoff has the opportunity to redeem himself, and he does. making the play and stranding the bases loaded for the Dirtbags. As we go to the bottom of the fourth, Dirtbags don't allow any Highland runs. It's still 2-0 for the visiting team. Here's you're watching the Ohio Valley Tournament on the Crown Point Sports Network. We start our bottom of the fourth with a pitching change. It's Dylan Majeski, who was at short coming in the pitch, relieving Sean Harder, who worked 3 brilliant innings. Ball into Corona. 3 innings, 1 hit, no runs, 1 walk, and he struck out 4 on the day. The 1 hit came from Nate Maravilla in the second. It wasn't hit all too hard, but with both teams guaranteed a spot into the next round, we're going to see a lot of pitching changes, especially when we get closer to the 45 pitch threshold. So I'm willing to bet that Owen Winters will be done and that the Dirtbags have a pitcher ready to go for the 5th inning. And there's a strike, 2-1 to Corona. But that's smart. Save the pitching. Get ready for tournament play because that's what it really matters, is you're going to be in line to possibly make it to the World Series, and that's what it's all about. 3-1. Highland was in the World Series. Dirtbags trying to get there for the first time. But if they lose this game, they'd be in third and have the long ways to go. The 3-1. Popped up a little bit closer to short, as that new shortstop that came in is the one that made the play. That was Sean Harder, as all there was a switch between the two, and he secures it for the first out. But, Dom, have you ever played against this Highland club before?
I played against them last year. We played them at Highland. It was not a fun game.
They are just defensively sound. They don't do too many things wrong or incorrectly. You really have to beat them if you want to win against Highland.
They just hit the ball. They you make an error, they're making you pay for it, and they've already showed us today that they will.
Their offense has still been a little bit slower than what manager Sam Michael has been accustomed to or looking for, and swinging and miss 0-2. But the pitching has been spot on. I mean, they've only allowed 5 runs through the first 2 games, but then you look and they've only been able to score 6 runs.
And their pitching is very deep.
It is.
They have tons of arms that are ready to go.
That's up 1-2. As the old saying goes, you can never have enough pitching, especially at this level when there's pitch counts. So guys can only go a certain amount before they get pulled. Or if a guy does throw more than 45, then you won't have him the next day. so many rules that go into protecting the young arms. There's a foul ball, 1-2. As we are in a day and age with a high pandemic of arm issues for pitchers. Just look at the MLB draft going into tomorrow. There's a good chance that you won't see a pitcher taken off the board until after the first 10 picks. And another foul ball as C.J. Hardy is staying alive, channeling his inner Bee Gees, and we'll do another one.
Talk about the MLB draft last year. Kumar Rocker, we were just talking about it. He had some, was it shoulder problems?
It was shoulder issues coming out of Vanderbilt. And he's pitching in Tri-City, a independent ball club. And another foul ball, but this one bounces off the leg of Hardy. We'll do 1-2 again. But there is such a high rate of guys that just went down with arm issues. Like the number one high school pitcher, Dylan Lesko, he had Tommy John. Hunter, I believe it was Bronco was his name. He goes to Florida. He was going to be a top college arm. He got hurt. And the foul ball again.
Hardy's very battling up there.
He is.
Yeah.
I think that's the definition of what he's doing at the plate.
Hopefully he can put one in the gap.
Yeah.
Get this offense started.
But then you start looking at some of these travel ball tournaments and tournaments in general. You may play 2 or 3 games a day. And this is hit hard in the center field. Tanis is going back. He opens the hips, and wow. Running full speed, arm fully extended. Tanis robs C.J. Hardy of extra bases.
That was a weird route, but you got it done.
Yeah, you wonder if maybe the wind is playing a factor. It is blowing from left to right, and it could have been some slice from the right-handed hitting Hardy. But we talked about it just at the start of this inning. Dom, this is a team that makes the plays in the field.
If that got down, that would have been huge for the Dirtbags. But
you say it comes down to a big hit. That could have been it.
That could have been it. That was it, but center fielder made a better play.
Yeah. As I've said already in this broadcast, it doesn't matter how hard you hit it. It's where you place it. Here's the 1-0. That's up 2-0. And that's not saying that every player should go up and expect to try to pull one for a home run where guys can't make a play on it unless they're Griffey Jr. or they can jump up and rob them at the wall, but and that's low, 3-0. But we've only seen one home run in the tournament. It was in the game before this. Tucker Patrick hit one over the right field wall for his 4th home run on the year. It came from a reliable source, his manager, Steve Schmidt, who was all but smiles after his team picked up the W 10-0 against Porter County. 3-0 pitch hit in the left field. Perry calls off Tanis, who comes in to back him up, and that's out number 3. 1-2-3, go the Dirtbags. Highland still leads it 2-0 going into the 5th. It's getting late, and you're watching Babe Ruth Baseball on the Crown Point Sports Network. It's the 5th inning, so we're in the back third of this ball game, and it's all been the top of the first. It's been the story where Highland scored the 2 runs. Both teams have gone scoreless. There's a lot of goose eggs up on the board. And the Dirtbags, who are taking the field in the top of the 5th, are still looking for their first run of the game. They have to wait for the bottom of the 5th inning to do so, as the new pitcher is Eli Sparks. So Eli Sparks will come in for Owen Winters. And with 3 innings, allowed 3 hits, no runs. Allowed just 1 walk, a hit by pitch, and he struck out, it appears, only 1. It's only 1 strikeout. Here is the pitch. And it's hit down the left field line. Kostov going after it. He won't be able to get there as it was placed perfectly down the line. You couldn't have chipped that one any better. And Osley gets his second hit. He's been on base all 3 times as he did reach on an E6. But for Highland, they're trying to score more runs, and getting a leadoff runner on is a good start.
As a pitcher, that's one of the most frustrating
things
to get against.
Yeah.
It's one of those bloopers right down the line.
I think we've all been there before, especially if you ever taken the mound. Mm-hmm. What's more frustrating, the bloop hits or your fielder's not making the plays?
Fielder's not making the plays.
Because at least the bloop, the hitter earned it.
Yeah.
The errors, that just mounts up after a while. Even when players get a little bit older, I've seen it where pitchers see their guys making errors. Is that one misses 1-0 to Bogner, and then it becomes a mental game, and they really check out or try to think they need to be made more pinpoint accurate and gets the outs they need by themselves.
And you overdo your pitches.
Yep.
You overthrow them. You think you got to throw harder. You think you got to put more movement, and it causes you to throw it over the plate, and you get crushed more.
Yeah. You're not really worried about your location anymore. You're more worried that you need to get these guys out any way you can, because even if there's a miss-hit, you just feel like anything put in play, your guy's not going to make the play. As the great Yogi Berra has said, 90% of the game is half mental. Ball in the dirt, and the runner on first that came in for Osley did not see the ball get away. He'll stay over there as it got past Hardy to the backstop. And it will be 2-1 to Bogner, who is 1 for 2 with a single and a strikeout swinging.
That's the first ball that's gone past CJ in these 2 games.
That's down and away, 3-1. Is Sparks a pitcher by trade, or is this more or less just trying to save arms for the tournament play that's set for tomorrow?
They're definitely trying to save arms. He's pitched a couple of times for them, but mainly catcher. They put him in outfield, but. And
that's ball 4. Sparks throws a good fastball. It just doesn't seem like he has too much command on it thus far. A single and a walk will kick off the inning for Highland. So the runner in scoring position.
I'm sure that's not how Hensley wrote that down.
And there is another change, as we'll get back to your point in a second. Sorry about that. 11 for 22. That is Paul Peters for Jason Bogner.
Now coming to plate number 21, Eric Tanis.
And Tanis, who made a great play in center field, comes up in a big spot. May see a bunt here. We'll see. That would be a very typical Highland move with 2 runners on base and no outs. And there's the bunt. He pushed it off to the right, 0-1. It's almost as though I've played them multiple times in my lifetime, where I've also watched them numerous times, as there have been a lot of 16 to 18-year-old state or Ohio Valley tournaments that have made its way to this field. And Highland, of course, always a contender for the state title, always finds their way at those tournaments. And I've seen some pretty good teams through the ages. 0-1, Sparks is set at the belt. Here's the pitch, another bunt shown, and it's a foul ball, 0-2, and that's not going to make Sam Michael very happy, as he immediately clapped his hands and now walking to talk to his pitcher, Tanis, or his hitter. It's now 6-1 on the West Field in favor of Elmhurst, who has already clinched first place, but would look a lot better to be 3-0 going into single elimination play instead of 2-1. But
That'd be very good for the momentum.
yeah, I mean, you're very clinched first place. Getting a blowout win may get you. And the bunt pulled right back. The throw down the second base. They're there, and they can't get him. Corona caught the ball. Thought he was able to get the runner, Ozale, but it was not in time.
That was a great throw by CJ.
That appears to be Caden Quigg. Caden Quigg for Ozale. So now we know who the culprit is. They came in. But luckily for Quigg, he's pretty quick and was able to get back in safely and not thrown out at second.
Yeah, they caught him sleeping.
As he was halfway. Another bunt. Pulled back. It gets past Hardy. Hardy's got to play at third base. He throws, and the ball comes out of the glove of McNeil. McNeil was more worried about the tag than catching the baseball because he knew it was going to be a bang-bang play, and the ball just got away from him, and two runners advanced to second and third.
There's nothing going for this Dirtbags team in
No.
this inning.
Correction, that was Winters, and strike three called. There's so many defensive changes. I almost feel like we're in a spring training game where, these major league teams will go into their benches and bring up the minor league guys, and you're scratching out names as Winters started at third, went to pitch, now he's back over at third. It's been a mess. Here's the first pitch, a line drive in the left. It's a hit. A run scores easily as there was a runner on third. A runner will move up to first, and Highland has gotten on the board for the first time since the second inning. And it comes from a base hit from Caden Vandermeiden.
Now coming to the plate, the catcher, number 6.
Looked like it was a hanging curveball there, Dom.
It did look like it was hanging as Hensley comes out to the mound to talk to Eli.
Sparks went to the curveball, and it was more like a cement mixer that hung over the middle of the plate and screamed, "Hit me." And Vandermeiden did as he turned on it, put the barrel on the ball, and hit it in the left. There was really no play to speak of for the Dirtbags, and Highland is up 3-0. And they're 9 outs away from taking second place in their respective pool. I wonder what they're talking about. Maybe they're talking about fancy football trades.
Or maybe they're talking about what they had for lunch.
Maybe they're talking about the ranch at Station 21 and how
Maybe
good it
they
is.
are.
There you go.
Eli did have some chicken tenders with me.
Okay.
So maybe they are talking about
Yeah.
that.
I have to head on over there and try them. They are approved by Dom, who's up here with me, and by Eli Sparks. So does that make it certified by the Crown Point Dirtbags?
I think so.
There we go. Maybe if the Dirtbags win the Ohio Valley, they'll go over to Station 21 and have a fun night out at Station 21. Here's the pitch. Bunt shown, hit right in front of home plate, and it's a foul ball as it didn't left the right-handed hitting batter's box. And it's going to be 0-1 to Ryan Gordon. As Highland's been trying to bunt for quite some time now and have not been able to put one in fair territory. That's not very Highland of them to not be able to do that. And I know that will drive Sam Michael crazy over at third base. The 0-1 from Sparks, and it's a swing and a miss. The runner's going to go to second. Hardy's going to go to second, and it was a cut play by Corona, who ran in from short to see if he could catch the Quigg. Actually, that Quigg score. That's going to be Peters at third, but instead they're going to get a runner in second base. So there's two runners in scoring position with one out. But it is 0-2 at least to Ryan Gordon. Sparks will go back to the windup, and he delivers. That's out 1-2. We're closing the book on the second full day of play in this Ohio Valley tournament. And the 1-2. And Gordon, for the first time today, is out as he was 2 for 2, but now he's going to add a strikeout to his line score. And Sparks goes back to the fastball and blew it by him. Sparks got a good fastball. It's just going to be the does he have the breaking stuff to complement it and keep these Highland hitters on their toes?
Well, if the Dirtbags can escape this inning with just giving up 1 run, that would be great for them. So hopefully they can get this next out.
Well, they have to do it against the top of the order with Mike Perry. Perry is 1 for 1 with 2 at-bats being unofficial. And talk about unofficial at-bats, he's now been intentionally walked. Perry won't even see a pitch.
Number 10, Josh Majeski.
And Josh Majeski, he was going to bat. And Ryan Smith is going to re-enter. And saw the first base coach, Dom, as soon as they said ball 4, he immediately ran over to the dugout and called for Ryan Smith to come back into the game.
Ryan Smith.
And this could turn into a mistake. There is a force out at every base, but the bases are loaded. I mean, at least it could have been worse. They could have been ahead in the count and intentionally walked Mike Perry. Looking
Tony
at you, Tony La Russa. Here's the pitch. And a check swing to the right side. Kaminsky is there,
Like
and they strand the bases loaded. So that intentional walk does pay dividends for the Dirtbags.
Hensley looked like a genius doing that.
Yeah, he's a baseball mastermind. As we go to the bottom of the 5th with Highland tacking on 1 more, it is 3-0 going into the middle of the 5th inning. And you're watching the 2022 Babe Ruth Ohio Valley on the Crown Point Sports Network. Home half of the 5th, and it's the Dirtbags battling against Dylan Macheski. It's Dom Glandino and me, Andrew Mild, are on the call. It's Jaden Andrus, who walked in his last at-bat, will step up to the plate to lead off this 5th inning with his team down 3 runs now. And really not a whole lot of hits to speak of, just the lone one. Ground ball to the left, and they're making 2 hits. There you go. There's the broadcaster's jinx coming into fruition. Just as you say it, Jaden Andrus delivers, and he's sending on first base with a single. Had that happen to me in a Corn Dogs game not too long ago. It was a game out in Hammond, Indiana. It was between the Vikings and the Corn Dogs, and I had mentioned while on air that the Corn Dogs have not hit a home run in that field. A pitch later, there was the first home run hit in that field by a Corn Dog hitter. It was Jake Ferry who left the right field wall. But the funny part about this profession, Dom, is you never know what you're going to run into. And you could say one thing and it's completely different. That's low, 2-0. And one play can really make you sound like you don't know what you're talking about. Like a game in Schaumburg, Illinois, between the Boomers and the Thunderbolts. I mentioned how the wind was really circling the field, and I'd be surprised to see one leave the yard. I'm pretty sure the Thunderbolts that game hit 3. The next guy hit a home run, coincidentally.
After you said that.
Yes, I'm not joking. The broadcaster and my boss, Terry Bonadonna, immediately looked at me, and he had a smirk on his face as he called the home run. So that was that.
That was
You
definitely
learned.
an embarrassing moment.
Yeah. Could have been worse than the time you call a home run. It really wasn't a home run. And I don't think there was a surprise there what the hitter was thinking there, as it was 3-0, and he was already walking backwards. That is Caden Maury.
His first at-bat.
Yeah, his first at-bat in the game. They're going to check over the runner at first.
Both games, I believe.
Yeah, he did not play in the previous game. That's why I did not recognize him. Had to look down at the lineup sheet that was given to us before the game from manager James Hemsley. It's 3-1 still to Maury. He's trying to get on base. Here is the pitch, and he swings through a fastball on the outside corner. It's 3-2.
Not the prettiest of swings.
No. Tried to pull that outside fastball into left field and swung right over the top of it. All his momentum was carrying him away from the pitch. It's 3-2. Here's the payoff. It's a foul ball. Just got enough of it to stay alive. We'll do it again. What about this? What about the time Joe Buck was calling the Ravens game and had mentioned that Justin Tucker had missed a kick in X amount, and sure enough, he doinked the next one. It's a real thing. I promise you. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Throw over the first.
Speak about doinks.
Don't even get me started on doinks, because I know exactly where you're heading for, Dom.
The Cody Parkey one.
Yep, thank you for making me reminisce about the double doink. I know there's probably some Eau Claire people that might be tuning into this game. They're having a laugh. It's a good chance they're Packer fans. Payoff pitch, and it's a swing and a miss for strike 3. Strikeout for Majeski since he came into the game in the 4th. That's his first K, and it came at a big time, as that's strikeout number 1 when the count was full. So he was 1 ball away from having the tying run at the plate.
And it was really looking promising for the Dirtbags. They got the leadoff runner. Then Caden Maury was up there with a 3-1 count.
Just couldn't make contact with any of them. Andrew Comiskey comes up, and he'll get a base hit in the left. He was not wasting any time. Barreled it up and found some luscious green grass in left. And there's the 3rd hit in the game for the Dirtbags in the 2nd in this inning from Jaden Andrus and Andrew Comiskey. So not only can he pitch, Comiskey can also hit. Another great swing from the Dirtbags.
Let's see if they can get something going. This is what they need right here.
They need to get some hits and keep the line moving. Sparks, who was the EH and now pitching, trying to help his cause here as he sees the first one run inside for ball 1.
Just got to go up there, pass the baton, get a hit, keep going, keep going.
Don't need to play hero ball.
You don't.
Exactly. I get what you're saying. I understand. 1-0. Never want to just sell out and try to hit a 3-run homer here. Just want to get the next guy up and make sure that there's guys on base for him. Sparks shows bunt, pulls back, and the ball's going to get away from Gordon behind the plate. He'll kick over to the Dirtbags dugout, and there's runners in scoring position. And this is the first time, Dom, where the Dirtbags have had a runner standing on third base.
In both games, right?
Well, no, because they did score at least the one run.
Did. I am wrong. My bad.
As it was Owen Winters that got the third and scored on the E2. But other than that, you're spot on, though. No one else got the third base. So in a figurative standpoint, no one stood on third base for a pitch, as Andrus, who was behind Winters on the play, was on second when the inning ended back in the game this morning against Elmhurst in the 2nd. So they had a runner reach third, but never actually stand on third. So I would say you're right. We'll give it to you. Don't know how much it's worth to you, but you'd have it. It's 2-0 Sparks now. Score in the other game is still 6-1 in favor of Elmhurst. Going out of the windup now is going to be Majeski. He fires, and it's going to hit the chain link fence behind home plate for strike one. All right, Dom, let's settle this. Best Gatorade color. Favorite flavor. I of course, have the blue.
I
cool
was going to
blue.
say the blue.
That's always solid. Yellow has always been a constant for me. Trying to think of other ones. The white has really grown. A ground ball to the right. They're going to send Andres home, and Highland will just take the out as that run makes it 3-1, and the Dirtbags score for the first time since the second inning of this morning's game. So that's some good baseball by Eli Sparks, just putting the ball in play and assuring that the Dirtbags drive in Aiden Andres and make it 3-1.
My top 3 Gatorade flavors are definitely dark blue, light blue, and then the pickle flavor.
There's a pickle-flavored Gatorade?
Cucumber one.
Cucumber, really?
Yeah, it's like lime green. It's like very salty. It's weird, but I like it.
I've never heard that one before.
Yeah, most people don't like it. Whenever I have it, everyone's like, they look at me in a disgusting look.
I know there's the green apple one.
Yeah.
That one's very good.
It's very sweet.
Yes. It's right up my alley. Hensley behind 0-2. Red has always been popular. Pink lemonade's always good.
The lemonade one's good,
Yes.
too.
They have so many variations of Gatorade now, too, since we've grown up. And the logos changed. The bottles have changed. Hensley hits one in the air into right field. Smith is going back, and he can't make the play. Hensley has driven in a run, and Hensley's going to hold up at first base as he thought that was going to be caught.
Yeah, he kind of just jogged over there.
Yeah, I don't think he realized how hard he'd actually hit it. He made it, from my viewpoint, I didn't see the baseball come off the bat,
Yeah.
so I was just watching him. But then I realized that Smith, the right fielder, was still going back and back some more, and he jumped and didn't make the play.
The Dirtbags make this a one-run game now.
It's 3-2. So that run at the top of this inning is now looming its head. And now I'm wondering if Hensley, I wonder what he's talking about with the home plate umpire, Gary Chick, just off screen. Actually, you can see him on your screen. Just enough. As that's Max McNeil in between them. As this is pausing the game.
Another
It's going to be a pinch runner. See who this is. That is number 28.
Jimmy Rush.
Pinch runner, number 28, Jimmy Rush.
Jimmy Rush, who started yesterday's, well, I won't say yesterday or today's, but earlier today's game. There we go. I found the right term for it. So Hensley is coming out for Rush. But Max McNeil, he's looking to continue the momentum for the Dirtbags, who now have 3 hits in this inning. And coming into the inning, they only had 1. McNeil takes one up. Ball 1.
They really had no momentum, but now
No.
if you look at the dugout, everyone's up. They're cheering.
Your defense is fun when you play it well, but when the offense is going, there's a whole different level of excitement when you can score runs. There's nothing more deflating than a struggling offense, in my opinion. When your lineup is coming up and not delivering in big spots, when you have guys on base, it really could hurt your momentum because then you expect for your guy to get out and don't really get into the game as much as you would. Here is the pitch, and it drops in for a strike, 1-1. I think we've all seen our team go in an offensive slump before in any sort of baseball, whether it be high school, little league, college, the professional level. You're watching the Cubs or Sox or whoever you cheer for. I just went with the default in this area. 1-1. McNeil hits one on the ground, and it goes through the legs of Harder in the left field, and the Dirtbags keep the inning going. Harder just lifted the glove just enough to let it pass through the wickets into left field. And now Jimmy Rush, who's standing on second base, is the tying run. But Sam Michael has seen enough. He is at 36 pitches. He is going to go to the bullpen. We'll get you the name of the new pitcher as we take a quick break as the Dirtbags are down 3-2 with a tying run on second base. Don't go anywhere. It's a fun one. You're watching the Crown Point Sports Network. And here we go. Kyle Stacey inherits 2 runners, and he fires in a strike to start the at-bat against Christian Kostoff. The lamp has flipped for the Dirtbags in their longest inning of the day. And this is their second game, so that means something. Runner on second is a tying run. Here's the pitch. It's just outside. That was close. It's 1-1. A good take by Kostoff. Dom, if you're Kostoff, what kind of pitcher are you looking for here in a 1-1 count and 2 outs?
Just something I can drive the other way, put it in the gap, get that runner at second to score.
Stacey delivers, and Kostoff's late. It's 1-2. Kyle Stacey has thrown some pretty good fastballs to start off this at-bat, and he's ready to go. Works on the first base side of the rubber. He gets a sign from Gordon, his battery mate. He's trying to end the inning right here and move into the sixth with a 1-run game. He's set. He lifts his leg. Here he comes. And it's fouled off. A good approach by Kostoff as he hits one off to the right and sends it close to the pavilion. We'll do 1-2 one more time.
Every great team has to have a great leader, and Kostoff is this team's leader, and he's looking to do something here.
He's looking to tie it, and he fouls off another one. That bounced off the glove of Gordon. If Gordon was somehow able to haul that baseball in, that would have been the 3rd strike, and that would have ended the inning. But we'll do 1-2 again. As Kostoff, the leadoff hitter, has to have that ability of fouling off tough quality pitches. That's usually a sign of a good leadoff hitter. Dancing over at second base is Jimmy Rush. And the pitch. And it's another foul ball.
Heading towards the west field.
Yeah, everyone on that side from Floyd County and Elmhurst got to be careful. But that's good news, too, for the Dirtbags. If Kostoff is fouling him off to the right, that means he's staying back and seeing that ball all the way in. What's it going to take to get Kostoff out? What's it going to take for Kostoff to deliver the tying run? Both these guys want to deliver for their team in a big spot. And right now, Dom, the loneliest places on this field are at home plate and the pitcher's mound. Just the battle between the guy with the stick and the guy with the rock. And who's going to win it? Stacy, glove on his left quad, is looking for his sign. Taking some time here. Neither guy wants to call time. He's set. He got the pitch he wants. Here he comes. It's low. Gordon was able to keep it in front of him and hold the runner at second.
That was a great block. If that got past him, puts the runners in scoring position again as he goes to the mound.
Now I'm wondering if maybe because of the lights coming fully into effect and no sun to really speak of, no daylight, that Stacy and Gordon are talking about the signs. Maybe that's why they're taking so long on the mound, is he can't see the signs. He needs the new pitch comms that they're using in the major leagues. 2-2, break-even pitch. Here is the pitch, and that is ball 3. Woo! That's a great take. A stone-cold take. And the reason why it's called a stone-cold take is the only reason why he took it because he didn't have a pulsar for a moment. Wow. But the runners are going to be on the move. The tying run will be on third base by the time the pitch arrives to home plate. Stacy, he fires. It's hit into right field. Tanis is going after it. It's a great sliding play by Ryan Smith. And if anyone's going to get a harder high five, it's going to be Ryan Smith from Kyle Stacy, as Smith keeps this game tied at keeps this game at a one-run game, 3-2. He prevents the tie. It's been a fun 5 innings of play, and luckily for us, there's 2 more to go. We go to the 6th, Highland 3, and the Dirtbags 2. You're watching the Ohio Valley Tournament on the Crown Point Sports Network. Top of the 6th, due up Dylan Macheski, Sean Harder, and Bryce Ozale. And, of course, that's pending any changes in the lineup from Highland. But Highland has saw their lead go from 3-0, shrunk down to 3-2, as the Dirtbags were one misplay away from Ryan Smith in right field from this game being tied. And a strike will start off the 6th frame between Highland and the Dirtbags. And it's It's an absolute blowout on the other field. It's 9-1 now. Ground ball hit up the middle, and it takes a hop and hits Corona, and it's going off to the right. And that's going to allow Majeski to get first base. And that will go down as an error for Majeski. Well, not on Majeski, but that's how Majeski reached base. The error on Corona, so an E6. And Majeski is standing on first base. So one base error.
That's very unfortunate. You just got both those runs, and you get a easy grounder.
We never want to have a nice offensive inning finally when you had 3 hits in one inning compared to the ones you had in the first 4. And then you start off the top of the 6th with an error. That's never a fun way to keep the momentum going. Here's the pitch. And this is a line shot. It was a one-hopper to the second baseman. They're going to try and turn 2, and they did not. Hensley did have to leap up a little bit to catch that ball, and here comes James Hensley from the dugout. That was Comiskey to Corona on the one-hop liner and a throw to first, and they're going to say that Harder got in there when Hensley lifted his foot from first base. And now they're going to have a conversation between the umpires as of right now it's a fielder's choice. Majeski's out on a 4-6 at second base, so 1 out at least. And the runner's still standing on first base for Highland. So we'll see what the final decision comes out to be. What did you see, Dom?
I couldn't see from here. I saw the out at second, and the infield ump says he's safe.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. I saw that Hensley, the first baseman, left the bag momentarily. I just didn't know maybe if he got the foot back in time to get Harder. But Harder is going to be standing on first base, but at the price of allowing this leadoff runner to be out. And it's going to be a hit by pitch. Curveball didn't curve, and Osley paid the price as that's a hit by pitch. He'll take it.
As the Highland dugout loved that. They all went crazy when he got hit.
Hey, any way to get men on base. Keep the line moving. And for Osley, good chance it didn't hurt because it was a curveball.
Yeah.
And that curveball was probably coming in at around 60-something. I don't think he was going to have to think about a bruise being on him after the game. They're going to throw to first, and that's interesting as why Hensley is holding the runner on at first when there's a runner ahead of him at second. I don't think I've ever quite seen that in baseball. First and second, 1 out. Here's the pitch. And this one is sent out into left. The outfielder is playing in, and Highland's going to run for days. Harder is going to score. The throw in from left center is not going to be in time as Ozalay scores all the way from first base, and it's 5-2 for Highland. It's a double. Trying to see who that was. Bogner. Wasn't sure if Bogner was back into the game as he did have a pinch runner for him. That was Paul Peters earlier, but Peters is out. Bogner was the hitter, and he delivers huge for his team, Dom.
He definitely delivered there, as that's what happens when you make mistakes. This Highland team's gonna get you. They had a chance to get the double play. It didn't happen. They made the error. And then he just hits that double.
Hit the third. Winters gloves it. And the throw to first is not in time. It's an infield single. And Highland's offense has come alive. That was Eric Tanis at the plate. That just got over the first base as because of the hops of the baseball, Winters had no choice but to backtrack, stab at the ball, and gun it across the diamond, and Tanis legged it out.
He was also running, yeah. He was going hard.
He was moving.
Mm-hmm.
We've already seen him be able to use his legs to his ability as he ran down the ball in center field. the old saying is that speed kills, and it indeed does, not just on offense, but also defense. And Highland has seen Tanis's legs pay dividends for them in this game. Vandermeiden is up. Here's the pitch. It's a strike down the middle. The throw down the second base is not in time as Tanis was able to slide around the tag from Corona. And Highland, one hit here, could make it a 5-run game. Just when you thought the Dirtbags were going to be able to come back, it's now 0-2 after a knee-buckling curveball.
Just when there was hope.
There was hope, but they cut the 3-run lead down to 1, and now it's back up to 3.
It was just like the last game. They're close, and they had that one.
Ground ball to short. Corona backhands it. He's going to have to throw it to first. He sails over Hensley's head and hits the fence. A run is already scored. Another run is going to score in the form of Tanis, and Vandermeiden is standing on first base.
He almost threw that ball over the bullpen and out of play.
I'm going to give Vandermeiden a single there, as he was already safe, as it might have been a good play from Corona just to hold on to that baseball. But, yeah, Corona really did sail that baseball, and he almost sent it into the grassy area between the east and west field. But that error run allows another run to score. So 1 RBI for Vandermeiden, because that would have driven in one of the runners easily. And the ball gets past the second baseman in the right. This has just turned into an ugly inning for Crown Point.
We were just talking about this like an inning or two ago. Your fielders making errors. And you could tell Eli is shaking up there.
And now there's going to be a conversation between Eli Sparks and his catcher, C.J. Hardy, as this has turned into a 5-run game for Highland. Really just been the hitting. And there's the error that started the inning, a fielder's choice that could have turned into a double play, a hit by pitch. But when you give them so many mistakes, and you alluded to it, Highland's going to make you pay, and that's 4 straight hits. Double, single, single, and another single. Mike Perry, top of the order, comes up for the 5th time. Runner on the move, and it's a beautiful hit and run. Wow. And Gordon didn't know where the ball was. He's going to go to third. Perry's going to move up to second. It is 8-2, and Highland is just pouring it on now.
Highland's manager is definitely feeling like he knows what he's talking about after that play. That was exactly what he drew up, and they executed that really well.
Yeah, that's what we were looking for in a hit and run, is to get a runner on third and first, but Highland was able to do it with runner moving up to second. Stacy hits one to second baseman Comiskey. Comiskey takes the out, and another run will score. So it's a beneficial out for the Highland Trojans from Stacy. Stacy picks up an RBI, and it's 9-2. Gordon scores. Perry's on third, and Macheski will come up, who started off this inning. We've gone all the way back to the start. Macheski, gets buzzed by a fastball. Just got all the way in time, and that's ball 1. That's why you have a helmet. But never want to see a player ever take one off the dome. I already saw an umpire do that today, and hoping that he's okay. Haven't heard much from him since the game. Pitch to Macheski. It's blocked by Hardy's 2-0. There's the brick wall.
That's definitely a very scary moment, seeing hitters get hit in the head.
Yeah.
Giancarlo got hit in the jaw a couple, what was that, 4 or 5 years ago?
That was a long time ago. I want to say that was 16 because his 59 home run season was in 17 when he won the MVP with the Marlins before ultimately getting traded to the Bronx Bombers, where he fits in perfectly with that field and with that swing. 3-0. Ball 4 to Macheski. None of them are even really close. And Macheski works a walk.
coming to the plate, number 24, Sean Harder.
Sean Harder is the new hitter. But, yeah, he's the one that really started the C flop. But if you remember, it started off as a G, of course, for Giancarlo. And then it was Reese Hoskins, wasn't it? They had two flaps. Throw to second. This is the design play. They're going to go home. There's nothing there. And they're going to take the also second base, and it's 10-2. Highland can do no wrong right now. They have scored 7 runs in this inning, and this comes after they were only up 1. Everything that Highland draws up in terms of offense has just been running very successfully. As there was the hit and run that allowed a run to score and set up 2 runners in scoring position, and the double steal as Highland steals home plate successfully. The 1-1. And it's above the strike zone for ball 2 to Harder.
Sparks just done a lot of pitches this inning, and you could tell he's getting a little tired up there.
Yeah, he's up to 39, so he's still underneath the 45-pitch threshold, but he's throwing a lot of them in this inning. You're right. And this is a frozen rope that's foul, so I'll just go down as a strike, but if I'm Sparks, I'm not throwing that pitch again. It's 2-2.
Yeah, it's getting the rain is coming down out here.
It's only raining here in Lake County.
Yeah, the one green dot on the forecast is raining down and on the field as it just got started. The 2-2, and that's inside, is 3-2. So that will set up a payoff pitch here. Highland could end the inning here with just scoring 7 runs. Foul ball. We'll do it again. It's been a battle, really, this inning for the Dirtbags, who have done everything they can to try and end the inning. But then Highland draws up one of their plays, and they can't do no wrong on those plays. They've ran it perfectly. The hit and runs, the bunts, and, of course, the double steal. 3-2. Ground ball to short. Corona gathers it, shuffles his feet, and delivers a nice throw to Hensley, and that ends the inning. But not before the Highland Trojans score a touchdown and kick the extra point to take a 10-2 lead going into the bottom of the 6th inning. As you're watching the Ohio Valley Tournament on the Crown Point Sports Network. And welcome back, fans. You're probably wondering what happened to the camera. Well, somehow, some way, Kyle Stacy, the pitcher, threw his first warm-up pitch, sailed it to the backstop, and hit the one cable and knocked it out. So the camera is, as of right now, disconnected. So you will just see these bars until the game is over. So you can thank Kyle Stacy for that. As he'll face Corona, Hardy, and Winters in this inning. But the way that the Dirtbags have gone into their bench, there's a good chance that there's going to be a few changes as Corona takes one off the plate for ball 1. So we're going this game radio style. But at least you do have the scoreboard to help you out, just to see how many outs and where the guys are on base. The 1-0, and it's hit in the air, and it's going to go out of play to our left. We'll do 1-1 after we reset. As those are one of those foul balls where a lot of the fans turn and
Panic.
start to pray a little bit as they hope that their car doesn't get found with a baseball. Their baseball doesn't get found. So you can tell it's been a long day up here in the booth, but I've had a good time. The pitch. Ground ball out to short, down on his knees, Majeski, and it's a low throw, and they got him. And I believe that was actually Harder, so that's a correction there. Harder makes the play, retires his counterpart Corona for a 6-3 putout. It is 10-2 here. It is a lot to a little over there. I see 2 4 spots for Elmhurst. It's 10-3. So both scoreboards are looking identical. Maybe C.J. Hardy can hit a home run, so we have 2 10-3 games. Here is the pitch from Stacy, and he throws one just over the top of the strike zone for ball 1. As this game, as we thought, was going to be close at the end of it, but 7 runs from Highland really has made it not so close. 1-0, and it's 2-0 now. I still can't believe Stacy somehow found the camera.
That's crazy.
I don't think you could even try to have done that.
I mean, we're making fun of him up here, but I will tell you a story. A couple of years ago, my dad was working on our tractor, our lawn mowing tractor.
Right.
And I was in the backyard pitching, and I was
3-0.
working on a changeup.
Yeah.
My dad was way over there, and I somehow released it and threw it and hit his shoulder. So we're making fun of him up here, but it happens.
It happens. It's kind of like when Joe Kelly broke one of his windows at his house working on his changeup and totally missed the net, which was a huge net.
And broke his window, yeah.
And that's ball 4 to C.J. Hardy. He didn't see any in the strike zone. He's now standing on first base.
It was the biggest net you could buy, too.
Yeah, it's about as big as this backstop. And he threw it, and it just edged it enough, and then you heard a big crash, and that glass was gone, and the baseball was in the living room. I believe that's how Nolan Ryan would do it back in his day when he was playing back in Texas. He would always somehow find his mom's window, and probably paid off as much money he made pitching for the Mets, Angels, Rangers, and Astros. Winters is the batter. There's a runner on first base.
Wow. All right.
Winters getting ready for the pitch. Here it comes. And that's a strike. And it's 0-1 to Winters. The runner on first, the walk to Hardy. It's turned into a beautiful night, really. Happy that the rain was able to hold off until the end, and it was really just a dust-up. Getting real sick of saying the rain word. It's probably the least favorite word of a baseball player.
Yeah, yesterday it rained all day.
It rained all day.
All day. It was unfortunate. Couldn't do anything.
No, that's the type of day where you stay inside and maybe get some video games started up, read a good book, or just sleep.
Catch up on Stranger Things.
Oh, yeah. Did you finish it?
Yeah, I
Oh,
did.
so good. Fly ball, shallow infield. The shortstop, Harder, will be the one that secures it for the second out, and there's 2 gone. And that will send up at Jane Andrus. Well, I don't want to spoil too much, but I'm assuming that most of our watchers have either seen the show or they have no idea what's going on. So, Dom, what would you say is your favorite part of the show after it's just finished its 4th season? You don't have to just say from the 4th season. It could be even from previous seasons.
My favorite character?
I was just saying your favorite moment.
Oh,
You can go with favorite character, too.
my favorite character is probably Steve.
Steve Harrington. Ball gets past Gordon to the backstop. Hardy will go to second base because of it and hold up there.
Or probably Billy.
Billy's another good character.
Who is your favorite character?
It's Steve.
Steve.
Protect Steve at all times.
That's what most people would say.
I will say the villain Vecna, he really gained my appreciation. He was a phenomenal villain in this last season of Stranger Things Season 4. You really find out that he's been in a part of all of it. So, really connecting all the previous 3 seasons to this 4th one. It's been really fun, and they really set up Season 5 to be an extravaganza. And somehow the camera has turned on. Yeah. President of Crown Point Babe Ruth, John Pearson, has come in clutch. Helps that he is an electrician by trade, strike inside corner, so he's able to put the cable back together, and you guys have baseball. Exciting. I just happened to be looking at the screen, and it went from bars to baseball. Here's a 1-1, and that's just on the that's off the outside corner for ball 2. I'm trying to think of is there any other shows that you watched, Dom, or just Stranger Things?
Outer Banks, but they haven't had a season in like a year.
I haven't watched that. I've heard good things, though.
It's like an adventure type of show.
I've only been able to watch a few shows like all the way through. One of them was The Office.
Yeah, I'm with you. I haven't watched The Office, but only a couple shows. I usually like skip some parts because it just doesn't
Strike 2, 2 and 2.
keep my interest.
Yeah, it's a different type of humor. Sometimes you don't even want to watch the screen because it's just very cringy.
Yeah,
And you just feel yourself in that situation. It's never fun when you're watching the show sometimes. 2-2. And that's just low. Oh, that was called strike 3. Okay.
a late reaction by the home plate umpire.
Yeah, it looked as though it was ball 3. Highland was heading off the field, and Andres wasn't happy as Gary Chick took a little bit of time and then rung him up. And the 6th inning is over. We go into the final inning, 10-2 Highland. As you're watching the Ohio Valley Tournament on the Crown Point Sports Network. It's the 7th. Highland's up 10-2, and they're 3 outs away from winning the game as it is just become a downpour here at Legacy Fields. As I said in the broadcast, if there is rain, it will find us whenever there is a Ohio Valley or any type of tournament at Legacy Fields in Crown Point. Always. It's just a guaranteed. it becomes a rain magnet. Pitch to Ozale. Ozale hits one to right. The second baseman goes to his left, and he makes a play that appeared to be Kaminsky's still. And that's out number one. It's a double check every time there's a play made. And that is Max McNeil pitching for the Dirtbags. And he threw one pitch to Ozale to start it out, as he will just try to play the mop-up role for the Dirtbags, as his team is down 8, and they have a lot to come back from.
Well, Andrew, Max did make a heck of a play last game.
He did.
To save the Dirtbags. He made a diving play and laid out there and caught it.
That was with the bases loaded, and there's a strike. I'm trying to see what inning that was when he made the diving play. The bases were loaded, and you're right, it was one out, I believe. And there's a foul ball. It turned into a sacrifice fly. So wherever I wrote sacrifice fly down, here it is. It was on Logan Delury in the 4th, where he hit a screamer down the line. It was ticketed towards the corner, and McNeil, playing left field, ran to his right, dove, and made what I think's been the play of the tournament thus far. Of course, I haven't seen everything from the west, but from the east, I would say he'd win. He delivers the 0-2, and strike 3 call. He got him. Good pitch from McNeil, and he's faced 2 hitters, gotten a fly out and a strikeout looking. That's actually not a bad slider.
Yeah, that was pretty good. It looked like a ball, and it just came in and came right into the strike zone.
Yeah, that's a front door slider if I've ever seen one before. McNeil throws the pitch, and it's low, 1-0. As we're getting very close to wrapping up the second day of play, it's been 3 fun games. 7-1, 10-0, and this is 10-2. And that's inside 2-0. As the hitter had to back off the plate. But wouldn't want to spend it any other way but broadcasting baseball. What else would you want to do? Wouldn't want to go to the beach on this type of day. It's low, and it's 3-0. You know, I saw a post the other day where a guy said it's the worst time of the year when there's just baseball to be watched. There's no football or basketball, and I have to disagree.
Yeah.
I think baseball in the summertime, it can't be defeated because it's played every day. 3-0. And that's down low, and that's ball 4.
It's just people don't like watching baseball because it's not as fast-paced as football.
Yeah. Well, it's okay. Baseball's more of a smart person's game anyway.
Yeah.
You know, in baseball, you could be any type of body type, so the game doesn't discriminate against unathletic people, or you could play any position, really, if you have the will to do it. Swing and miss 0-1. But it's a thinking person's game. Like, what pitch is this pitcher going to throw here? What should I sit on? If I use a hit and run here, is my guy going to make contact with the baseball?
Yeah.
And is my guy going to know to head to third if it gets through?
Well, the best player in the game, Mike Trout, he's built like he should play football.
Right.
And same with Aaron Judge.
You put any baseball player in a sport, I guarantee you they compete. You take a football or basketball player in baseball, they won't hit. They won't do it. 0-2. And that's in 1-2. But look at even some of the best athletes in football. Some of them played baseball. Russell Wilson was even drafted
Patrick
to play
Mahomes.
for the Rockies. Patrick Mahomes, I mean, he started throwing a baseball because his dad used to be a pitcher for the New York Mets. He actually pitched in high school. He was actually really good, 2-2, as that run ran inside.
Michael Kopech even he tweeted out saying Patrick Mahomes was better than him or something.
Really?
Yeah, I remember seeing that tweet.
I think Mahomes threw around 95, he said, when in the senior year of high school, as he really loved the game of football, and that's what he went with, and it's really paying dividends for him.
It really has.
He's been pretty good at it. Mike Trout definitely could play running back for someone.
Oh, yeah.
He's got the speed. He's broad. He'd be a very hard person to try and bring down in the game. Let me look at Kyler Murray. He was drafted in the first round of the MLB draft.
Oh, yeah, by the A's, right?
Yes, the Oakland A's. Pop up right side, and it's going to go out of play.
He was
So
the
3-2.
He was the first player to go in MLB and NFL
First round.
Top
Yeah.
10, too, right?
Yeah, I think he went 10th, so he met the requirements to be in the top 10 pick to the A's, and then he went first overall to the Arizona Cardinals, which it was interesting when that pick had happened, payoff pitch, and that hits the leg of the hitter, and it will now get first base, and there's runners on first and second with 2 outs. But he got drafted by Oakland, and Oakland worked out a deal with Murray where Murray could still go back to OU and play his senior year of football because he's a transfer from, I believe, Texas Tech. He went from Texas Tech to Oklahoma and won the Heisman the senior year. And he loved football so much he decided that he was going to go play football in the NFL. But here's the thing. He said football is easier because in baseball you have to try and hit a slider and decide if it's going to be a fastball or not. Chopper, left and foul, 0-1.
Bo Jackson, too. He played football.
Oh, how do you forget about Bo?
Yeah. He was one heck of an athlete. I remember my dad telling me about him. Obviously, I haven't seen him play because I was not born yet. But
What about this? How about primetime? Deion Sanders.
Yeah.
He played for the Braves and the Falcons to start off his career.
he played for the Cowboys, too, later, right?
Oh, he played for so many NFL teams. I can try and list them off. You may have to test me on it. He played for the Falcons, the 49ers, the Cowboys. I believe there's a season in there with the Ravens, as now the camera is doing its own thing. And I think that's it.
Kind of sounds like Gary Sheffield. He played through a lot of teams, too.
Wild pitch, going to get to the backstop, or off to the right, and his runner's now going to be on third and second for Highland. Well, it was that story that Deion played in an NFL game, and then turned around and played in the World Series game for the Braves. Or maybe it was a pennant clincher against the Pittsburgh Pirates in those America's team, Braves, that was playing on TBS, 3-1, with that amazing pitching squad of John Smoltz, Greg Maddux, and Tom Glavine.
Oh, those Braves teams were
good.
They were really
good. My favorite story of them is when they were practicing for the playoffs. The pitch is outside, and that is ball 4. So after 2 quick outs, it's been walk, hit by pitch, and a walk, and the bases are loaded for Highland. But the press box caught on fire. Yeah, they don't know what happened. They were just practicing on the field down the right field line, and they were looking up and realized that there was a blaze going on at Turner Field. And coincidentally, that was the 1995 season where the Braves finally broke through and won the World Series, defeating the Cleveland Indians in, I want to say it was 6 games that year, maybe even 5. But
I remember my dad last year, he was showing me a commercial of Greg Maddux. I think it was Tom Glavine.
Was it Chicks Dig the Long Ball? Yeah.
I remember that.
I'm glad your dad is cultured enough to show you that.
Yeah, I wanted DeGrom and Scherzer to remake that or something like that.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny.
Well, Scherzer wasn't a good hitter. I think the only 2 that could have done that was DeGrom and maybe Syndergaard, because Syndergaard could hit for a little bit of power from the left side.
He's on the Angels now.
Yeah, but they could have done it when he was still in New York. There was plenty of time to do it. They were on the team from 15 all the way up to 2021.
Especially there's times like both were injured, so they could have dragged them and be like, hey, let's shoot this commercial really quick.
That's low. Ball 1 to top of the order. Mike Perry with the bases loaded in a 10-2 game. They also showed Mark McGuire in that commercial, because that's where the girls were looking for, was McGuire, and then Maddux and Glavine then go through this whole montage of working out, and then they start hitting home runs at batting practice, quote unquote. Maddux and Glavine were really never known for their swings, but they were all really pumped up. I believe that was an Adidas or maybe Reebok commercial. Or was it Nike? I just went through all the brands, and I don't know which one it was. The Mariners make some pretty funny commercials. The 1-1. And this is clobbered into left center field, and this will score in a couple more runs for Highland. 1 run scores, 2 runs score. They're going to send the runner home. Perry's heading for third. He's going to stand there, and it's a bases-clearing triple for Highland. They're up 13-2. This has been a brutal game since that top of the 6th where they scored 7 runs. That's Highland, of course. Did not expect this at all in this game after the Dirtbags had finally turned it around on offense, but it's been Highland's offense that has been the story. They've scored 9 unanswered since 2 runs were scored by the Dirtbags. And they basically have this game wrapped up, in second place wrapped up in this pool. But the Mariners, they had this really funny commercial with Yesi Kikuchi, who is now with the Blue Jays when they first signed him. And they put him in like this blank room, and there is a rip in the right and another base hit.
Wow.
It is 14-2. Highland just pouring it on, and the Crown Point Dirtbags are just trying to end this inning and get to the bottom of the 7th inning. Anyway, they walked into this room, and Kikuchi had like paintings in one area, and he had other types of crafts in there, arts and crafts type stuff. And he was now finishing the boat in the bottle. We have to do it with the pliers and make it perfect. And one of the players walked by, and they go, "What is he doing?" They go, "Crafty lefty."
It's a creative commercial.
Yeah, I would say it's a crafty commercial. There was one where Ichiro was in center, and he was throwing, and he was acting like he was a pitcher. And because, Ichiro is always known for his strong arm and his ability to also be accurate with his arm. And they go, "Is this the new pitching guy?" And they go, "Yeah." They go, "Show us your fastball." And he throws one, and it's perfect. They go, "Throw this pitch." And he throws another one. And then it shows Ichiro because you don't see it. And he's standing in about center field where Jaden Andrus is. And he looks at it, and he goes, "Just a bit outside." And it was genius. I've always appreciated some of the Mariners commercials. Another one that was really good was with Raul Ibanez. Do you remember Raul Ibanez?
No, I don't.
He was a former Yankee, known for his time with the Mariners, of course. But whenever he would come up to the bat at Safeco, it's something different now. I think it's T-Mobile Field where the Mariners call home in Seattle. And Ibanez stepped up to the plate, and the PA announcer says his name. And, of course, he holds the U for quite some time. So he gets to the plate, and the catcher looks up and goes, "How many U's are in your name?" He goes, "Sometimes 8, sometimes 12. You just can't say Ibanez's name without really stretching out the U part. And that is ball 4. Some shading to do here in the book. I've really fell behind.
Max McNeil and the Dirtbags, they got the 2 outs quick.
Yeah.
First pitch was a ground out, and he struck him out. And then after that, he haven't been able to get another out. And it's been brutal. Yeah.
Yeah, there's 2 outs quickly, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hitters have gotten on base. Harder steps up. And Osley, who started the inning, is currently standing on deck. And it is 1-1. Here's the pitch. And it's low, 2-1. Now, I've been thinking, we've been talking about chicken tenders really from Station 21, but what would you say is your favorite ballpark food? If you could be specific food from any ballpark you've been to. There's a strike, 2-2. So you better make it quick because it's 2 strikes and 2
I would
outs.
definitely say a hot dog.
Hot dog?
Every time it's $1 hot dog night, me and my dad are always there.
Yeah.
The hot dogs are always good.
Did you see this Royals fan that was at the Royals game on Dollar Hot Dog Night?
He had a hot dog for every inning.
Every half inning.
Every half inning.
And the Royals lost.
Yeah.
So he had to eat one for the middle of the 9th. So he ate 18 hot dogs in one night.
And the Major League hot dogs are pretty big, too. It's
Yeah.
not like the Oscar Mayer ones that.
Hard liner down the line. It's a fair ball. Another run is going to be held up. They thought they were going to send them, and the bases will get loaded again for Highland as they're up 14-2 and looking to tack on a couple more. And this is going to be the second visit for Hensley. They're going to go to Jaden Andrus in center field, it appears. And we will take a break. Your score, Highland 14 and the Dirtbags 2. It's going to be Aiden Hensley in the game. The pitch, he goes from first to the mound. Jane Andrus goes from center to first base. And there's a good chance that it was Max McNeil that went to center. Ozale is up to the bat. 14-2 is the score. And that's a strike. 1-1. I'd have to say, though, looking back on some of the favorite food I've ever had at a ballpark, guaranteed rate, Irish nachos, which is literally the chips and cheese. It is French fries.
And bacon, right?
Bacon,
Yeah.
the cheese, and I am blanking on what else goes on there. It's the green spice that they put on the Irish nacho. Let's look. I'm going to have to look it up.
I know Shoop's has some great Irish nachos.
Yes.
When I was little, I always got the Irish nachos and I forgot it was the green drink. I forgot what it was called.
Oh, it's the Green River.
Yeah, the Green
Yeah.
River. I always got that.
Yeah, you can only get it there. Swing and a miss, and it's 3-2. But it's great. Yeah, I've always been a fan of the Irish nachos at guaranteed rate. They didn't have any the last time I was there. I had to get the regular garlic parmesan, which I'm not going to complain, at a Chicago baseball game. Foul ball, we'll do 3-2 again.
As it hit the umpire, he's shaking off his shoulder.
C.J. Hardy was putting fingers in his face trying to see if he was okay, and Gary Chick's having a laugh after Sam Michael checked up on him, too, from the third baseline.
We already had a incident today with the umpire getting hit. Took him out the game.
That was in the first game for the Dirtbags against Elmhurst. It's never fun. 14-2. It's not the most lopsided score I've ever seen. And ball four. 15-2 is the score now for Highland. It was a game between the Corn Dogs and the Vikings in Hammond, where the Corn Dogs won that game 24-0, hitting 5 home runs. That game went 7 innings.
I remember scrolling through Instagram, and I saw 24-0. I'm like, no way. This is
Some
real.
people actually asked us if that was a real score,
Yeah.
if we were messing with them, and we said nope, that was a real score. I remember calling a game between the Butler Bulldogs and Yukon Huskies, which if you follow college baseball, you understood that Yukon was really good. They were 1 win away from making it to the World Series in the Super Regional against Stanford, who was ranked 2 in the country for quite some time. They beat Butler 17-3. And, Dom, I'm planning on graduating from Butler in December, and my professor at Butler has been trying to convince me to stay to call some more Butler baseball games. But he picked the worst one to pick. It was that game, 17-3. And I said, you know what? I'm going to be okay.
Yeah.
I think I'll take my chances elsewhere. Because, of course, Butler's not known for baseball. They're known for their men's basketball. Actually, the star of the Crown Point women's basketball team is going to be going to Butler, as they had a head coaching change there too. Foul ball, 2-2.
And her sister's going to Purdue, I believe.
Yes. The women's basketball team for Butler really turning it around. I'm excited because I watched some of their games and it was brutal. But they went out, got the coach from IUPUI, and he had taken them to the tournament. But they lost. I believe that's Lily Stoddard, if I stand corrected.
Yeah, Lily and Abby Stoddard.
And base hit the center, and another run will score. It is 16-2. Oh, it's Carruthers. She averaged 20.7 points this last season for Crown Point. She is going to Butler. The men's basketball team has been picking it up, so they've been pretty exciting. 8 runs now this inning for Highland. Here's the pitch. And it's a foul ball off to the right, 0-1.
Speaking about basketball, former Crown Point star Sasha
Playing that
he
for the
signed
Spurs.
with the Spurs, yeah.
Has he gotten any minutes yet?
In the summer league, I'm not sure.
I watched the game. He did get in, but it was the first one, so I understand that the Spurs were trying to get some time in for their draft prospects and guys that may have gotten drafted last year and trying to get more minutes because they didn't get a whole lot of playing time during the regular season. But hopefully Sasha can make it maybe to a G League team. 0-2. And called strike 3. You had to think the strike zone was going to get pretty wide with the score being 16-2. And we'll go to the bottom of the 7th with this game all but pretty much wrapped up. As you're watching Ohio Valley Baseball on the Crown Point Sports Network. Bottom of the 7th, Highland is up. Well, I don't know a nicer way to put it. It's a lot to a little.
Yep, it is.
Going to the bottom of the 7th, and they have scored 15 unanswered runs in the last 2 innings. So that will give you sort of an idea of what the game has turned into. As the Dirtbags are down to their final 3 outs, and unless they can score 2 touchdowns and convert on the extra points, they will not make a comeback against the Highland Trojans, as they will come up with some substitutions. But, actually, let's look at the MLB scores. Why don't we? What's going on in the major leagues? I know the White Sox dropped the game to the Twins today, 6-3. The Cubs lost 2-1, and the Cubs are currently tied 2-2. the bottom of the 5th against your Mets. The Yankees are beating the Red Sox 10-1. Wow. They only have 9 hits. How many walks have the Red Sox granted? Just 6, but they've allowed 4 home runs. That's where it's coming from. Guardians won 10-0 today against the Tigers. Cardinals blew out the Reds. Ball inside. Mariners have won 13 straight games. They won 3-2 today on the road against Texas in extra innings. I wonder if that is the longest win streak in Mariners history. A lot of blowouts really today in baseball. 10-0 for the Phillies against the Marlins. 5-0 for the Astros against the A's. 2-0 is the count as the camera is still doing that thing again, but not really much to watch. 2-0 pitch. Foul ball to the right. We'll do 2-1. If you're still with us, clap to you. It's not been the best game in terms of our equipment. As our camera's still showing the bars time and time again. It's because of the weather and the one baseball that found it, and it's 3-1. Here's the pitch from Kyle Stacey, and that is ball 4. So head to the backstop, and a runner will reach base for the Dirtbags. That's Ozelli actually pitching for Highland. So Stacey was done after he pitched just the 6th, I believe. That's low for a strike on the lower part of the strike zone. That's 0-1. You know, we were talking about the Kansas City Royals fan that ate the 18 hot dogs in 9 innings of a Royals game on Dollar Hot Dog Night. That's up 1-1. But what about the fan that lost fantasy football, and he had to stay within a Waffle House for 24 hours. And for every waffle he ate, it would take time off. It's a strike. Runner moves a second. And defensive difference, 1 and 2. I think he ate, how many was it? 8 waffles while he was there and sat there for 16 hours.
And those waffles are not like they're tiny. They're pretty big.
No. Yeah, it's not the type of waffles you just buy at the store.
Yeah.
Runner the 3rd on the wild pitch. No, these are the waffles that cover a whole plate.
Mm-hmm.
So you really have to be dedicated if you're going to eat maybe more than just the one waffle if you're at the Waffle House. There's not too many in this area. You really have to start going more south to find one. But, man, yeah, I've seen those waffles in person after a trip down to Arlington, Texas for the 2020 NLCS. And Sam Michael just raced in from the mound to talk to his pitcher and his catcher. The count is 3-2. But what type of food would you be able to eat for that type of time? It's like it has to be so good that at least the first couple are good until at some point you're like, you know what, this isn't as good as it first started off as.
I was thinking my stepmom's homemade chicken Alfredo, but that's too heavy. I can only have one plate.
That would result in vomiting, I would think. Ball 4.
So it can't be something heavy.
No, because that would sit there.
Yeah.
You would have maybe a couple of bowls, and next thing you know, you're regretting every decision you ever made.
Maybe the chicken tenders with ranch at Station 21.
We go right back to where we started.
Yep.
You look at
Oh,
the ball and the bat goes flying. Wow. Yeah, man, it's a pine tar.
it almost hit Aiden Hensley on deck.
Keep Aiden Hensley on his toes over there, Eli Sparks. Runner to second. 3 runners on third and second. 16-2 is the score. And 0-1 the count with no outs. But And that's a strike 0-2. Of course, you have the hot dog eating champion that is. Wow, I'm blanking on his name right now.
Chestnut.
Joey Chestnut, of course. I kept wanting to say Jimmy Chitwood, but I knew that wasn't right. I knew that was Hoosiers. But, yeah, Joey Chestnut, swing and a miss, strike 3, out number 1. How many did he eat? He ate like 64 this year.
Yeah.
And that was with a bad ankle, which I don't know how that influences how he eats.
Yeah.
But also had to take down a protester in the middle of his competition and still smoked everyone. That's inside 1-0 to Hensley.
And it was his down year, too.
Yeah, it was a down year. 64 hot dogs
Put that in air
10
quotes.
minutes, and that's a down year. He ate the 90 the 1 year, didn't he?
I'm not sure, but that wouldn't surprise me.
He actually lives in Indianapolis. Believe it or not, Hensley fouls one off his leg, 1-2 still. My roommate actually ran into him when he was down there, and it was funny. He was with a bunch of some of the foreign exchange students because we lived with one up until the end of the first semester, and none of them knew who he was. We said, that's the Santa of the 4th of July. He shows up every year, eats the hot dogs, and you never really hear from him again.
Until the next 4th of July.
Yeah, he's what, a 10-time champion now? Or is it 12? I know it was double digits. 3-2 now to Hensley.
I saw a stat, if you want to call it that he ate more hot dogs in that day that the White Sox have home runs.
Oh, no. Really?
It was like 64 to 56.
Swing and a miss. Hensley's down on strikes.
Like that. But, yeah, if you want to call that a stat.
I guess that's maybe a figure. That's a good comparison, though.
Some people are saying he was the greatest athlete of all time after that.
Hey, if you can eat 64 hot dogs in 10 minutes, I could say you were a great athlete, I guess.
I don't think Michael Jordan can eat 64 in 10 minutes.
Esports becoming a big thing, I guess we've really redefined what an athlete really is.
That is true.
As now players can, well, not players, but 2K, like basketball or Rocket League's popular. Fortnite, League of Legends. If you think of it, there's probably a league where 2K has even created a 2K league, or the NBA, sponsored by some of the NBA teams. Like the Pacers have one. The Bulls don't have one yet, so waiting on that to come around. I think there's 23 of the 30 teams have sponsored a team. But now you can go to college to play video games.
That's something.
The nerds have made it.
Yeah.
1-1. That's up 2-1. They're actually building a new esports facility at Butler, which it's going to be pretty cool when it's done. I'm hoping to at least get to check it out before I graduate. The 2-1. It's downstairs, and it's 3-1. Remember my first day of college, we had first year orientation, and there was a guy in the class that was a professional gamer. And he gets paid. Pretty cool, in my opinion. I just don't know if I would consider them athletes, per se.
Yeah.
A baseball, football, basketball player that risk injury when they play. You may get hurt tripping over a cable if you're an esport guy, but never when you're actually playing. Ground ball to short. Is this going to be the game? The throw to first, and that is the game. Final score is 16-2. Highland goes to 2-1. They get second place in the pool. The Dirtbags go to 1-2 as they lost both games today by a final of 7-1 and 16-2. For Dom Galindo, we thank you for joining us, and we hope to see you tomorrow. Hopefully the rain stays off and we get more Babe Ruth baseball from Legacy Fields. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow. Final score, Highland 16, Crown Point 2. Have a good rest of your night.